Why, hello there. I'm Sin. We are in the Book Nook, and today we're going to talk about my past, present, and future of books. What I've just finished, what I'm in the middle of, and what we're going to get into. Okay, so recently I finished the book Fine Shade by Kate Griffin, and that is a Gothic read, and it follows the story of this woman who goes to be this governess at this big old crumbling estate called Fine Shade. And when she gets there, she finds that her student is this child who her mind is not quite capable of learning typical school lessons. Like she's very good at art, but otherwise she doesn't really verbally communicate a whole lot. And so none of that was told to her before she came here. And then also, the man who owns the estate is mysteriously absent. His son is banned from the estate and not allowed anywhere inside. And so there's all this like weird stuff happening. And so if you do like Gothic dark fiction, this is a slow burn. It definitely builds and moves very slowly, but the end was pretty fantastic, and the end builds up to a pretty explosive ending, which was great, but it is also very slow moving. So if you're not a fan of slow burns, then maybe this book might not be for you. But if you do like Gothic books that are weird and tell a strange story of the stuff that goes on in the walls of an old crumbling estate with all the weird drama and mysteriousness and hidden passageways and mysteries, then you might just like Fine Shade. Okay, so currently I'm in the middle of a book called Immaculate Conception by Ling Ling Huang. This is the first time I've read this author, and I've been meaning to get to this author for a minute because I've heard good things. And so far, I really like the writing. It pulled me in right away. It follows these two art students. The main character's name is Inca, and they are going to the Berkshire College of Art and Design. You have like the budding of this friendship between these two artists. The one artist is just basically almost genius level and can work in any medium and whatnot. And then the other woman, Enka, she works in like art with technology. And so at some point they become friends, even though at first Mathilda, she's the other artist, she doesn't really talk to anyone and she seems very introverted to the point of where people just kind of think she's a snob, but she's just very, weird about talking to other people. And as you get into her backstory, you see a lot of like the emotional reasons for why she might just be like that. And so you follow their friendship, you see where their art paths go, and then in the beginning of the book, it's kind of like the precursor to the story is that Matilda is missing. So I don't know how many years down the line that is when this happens or what led up to that, but you see a lot of like how the waves and bouts of depression she went through just with stuff about like her family history. And then I think too, like she worked on this one art project, which literally when you read what the art project is, it brought tears to my eyes because it's very emotional. And it's like this woman just poured her whole heart and soul into it and put herself into her art that no wonder she was so freaking depressed when she finished it because she put all of herself into it. Like you could feel that. You could feel that emotion. So that description right there like really pulled me into the story. So far, loving the writing. There will definitely be a standalone review for this coming. So keep an eye out for that. All right, now let me tell you what I'm gonna get into. First up, we have, because, it's getting into spooky season. Even though for the most part I keep it spooky all year round, maybe I do tend to read a few more spooky books this time of year. So I saw this one. I love the cover. Spooky Science, and it's all about ghosts and cryptids and things that go bump in the night. And we all know, if you've been around the channel, that I love all that kinds of stuff. So let me tell you about this one. So the inquiring minds behind Spooky Science Sisters podcast want to know why it's so chilly in here all of a sudden. Not because of a ghost, that's for sure. Join authors Megan Ankney and Paige Miller on their quest to unveil the secrets and share the science behind why we believe in haunted houses, vampires, werewolves, cryptids, aliens, and so much more, including accounts of personal experiences with the paranormal or not, and quizzes to gauge your own knowledge of all things creepy. Spooky Science reveals how our brains are capable of conjuring things more horrific than any old ghoul or ghost. And I thought that sounded like a fun read. And I've never listened to this podcast, but maybe I will now. We'll see. We'll see how I'm going to read the book first. Okay. And then next up, we have What About the Bodies by Ken Jaworowski. What about the bodies, Ken? Huh? I don't really know. So let's tell you about it. Carla, a single mom poised to finally break free from her cycle of poverty, must risk it all, including her mortality, to help her son hide a terrible secret. Reed, an autistic young man, sets out on a journey to keep a deathbed promise to the mother he just lost. Along the way, he'll encounter both kind-hearted residents and a cold-blooded nemesis. And Liz, an aspiring musician on the cusp of a breakthrough, needs to quickly come up with the cash she owes a brutal ex-con. If she can't pay him, both her dream and her life will be in grave danger. As these three compelling characters intersect, the novel ignites into a story filled with explosive twists, hair-raising chills, and boundless love. And I thought that sounded quite intriguing. So, this was a random one I stumbled across at the library, and sounded like something I'd be into. So, we'll see where this one goes. And as for what am I most excited to read out of all of these, I think honestly the one I'm in the middle of right now, because I'm really liking the writing of it. And that makes me want to go back and read, I think there was another book she wrote that everyone was talking about not too long ago called Natural Beauty. And I think that was horror. The one I'm reading right now feels a little like it might get into like dystopian, almost sci-fi-ish with weird technology stuff. So we'll see, but that one I'm really liking. And then that spooky science one sounds pretty cool too, because I love all that weird stuff. So that is what we're getting into. What have you been reading recently? Anything weird? Anything spooky? Or just in general? It doesn't have to be weird and spooky. Just because that's what I like doesn't mean that's what you're reading. So let me know. I'm always curious. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.